hoe. Don't take they fucking shoes off when they dirty at the door. A young hoe. Washing towels and clothes together in one wash. You know what I'm saying? Young hoe shit. So she ran into a young hoe and she's like, ooh girl, I don't like you here. I'm finna go to the club. I thought this was the club. I need to go to the club. And Miss Vernetta's like, yo, I'm trying to go to the club. I'll drive us. How about that? So then they're on their way out to the parking lot and Miss Vernetta gets a phone call. The phone call ends up being, drum roll. The drum roll ends up being her husband that was in prison, and he ended up being released that day, and he was waiting for her at home. So as we're reading through the story, she hangs out with her best friend a little bit more. She's just going around and just trying to live her life, basically. So now that her husband is home, she went home, she tried to cook him dinner and breakfast and XYZ, and he was just like, well, bitch, where's my food? I just got out of prison. Why the fuck you ain't come pick me up? Why the fuck you ain't do this? Why the fuck you ain't do that? He was just complaining the whole time, right? And basically, I forgot what he went to jail for. Does anybody know why he went to prison? We might have to come back to that or look it up online. But basically, he was supposed to be in there for like a couple more years. Probably something premeditated, something, or he robbed something, trespassing something. But his friend ends up coming to the door the night that he gets back from prison. So he opens the door and it's his homie, but also Miss Vernetta's little boo thing that she be fucking on, you know, the trainer. Yeah, so that ends up being the husband's best friend. So she fucking the husband best friend, and the husband best friend's friend. But he didn't want her to know that he was doing that with his wife, right? Sorry, it was a little tongue twister situation right there. So before he could have any like clarity if like she been fucking around or been doing stuff while he's been gone, he's cussing her out like, bitch, I know you ain't doing this. Bitch, I know you not fucking. Bitch, I know you didn't do this. Bitch. Like, you know them people, like them like super aggressive ass like men that like they are so strong, but they can be just so insecure. And he is just making Miss Vernetta's head like, hey, right? And she's just trying to be there. She's so happy that her husband is back. Her actual husband passed away like years ago, but she got remarried to this young ass fool that's like half her age. So she ends up trying to make breakfast for him. He went to go find a job in the morning because he passed out. She was like ready to like have sex with him and do, you know what I'm saying? Haven't seen you XYZ amount of time. Try to get my freak on. That didn't happen. She ends up trying to do something nice for him in the morning and cook breakfast. That didn't happen because he just ended up storming out the door because he wanted to go get a job. So then after that, Miss Vernetta's like, damn, you don't want to eat my food. One thing led to another, and she ends up passing out on the floor, and the food that she's cooking ends up burning on fire, and she starts a fire in the house. Next thing we know, she wakes up in a hospital, and the doctors tell her that she has brain cancer. And the whole time, we started to feel bad for Miss Vernetta because she got cancer and she has this like lymph node, like lump inside of her, and doesn't know how much time that she has to live, but she's stressing herself out and she's on medication already, and the doctors are trying to put her through like all this like chemo and like just help her with the cancer. Now, mind you, she's having to keep in line her man at home, which he was already going out and cheat on her anyways because she is literally an old lady and he wants control over her. He wants to go fuck on other women and get to the bread, because for men know that if you get to the bread, the women are gonna come anyways, because like, you know, in different cultures, men are the givers and the protectors, and the women are supposed to just stay at home and relax and basically be put on a pedestal. Obviously, that's not like literally what women want, but in the scenario of love, right? You want to put somebody on a pedestal. So while he's over here doing whatever the fuck he wants and taking control of the house and trying to make her do all of these womanly chores, right? Her friend, her best friend that she hangs out with all the time, she ends up taking her out to eat, and they're talking, they're having a real talk. Miss Renetta talks about how she's scared about having cancer, and then her best friend is talking about like, well, I just met this man and I don't know how I feel about him. And they had a real ass conversation at the I think they went to Papados, if you know what Papados is. And next thing we know, they kind of split apart, kind of get into it because Miss Renetta is a little jealous that her best friend already has a man and she's younger than her and she's going to be married. They're going to live together and this man is going to take care of her and they're the perfect match, right? Later down the line, Miss Renetta is still like dancing, partying, doing all these things, trying to fill her youth out before she dies from the cancer, right? Or so we thought. So she goes to the club, she's dancing and grinding up on this couple, right? It's a man and a woman. They're into Miss Renetta. They know she a freak. They take her back to the hotel, dick her down, and Miss Renetta was going both ways that night. Yes. So since that, Miss Renetta's like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Like, that was so weird. It was so fun. But like, I have to leave before I get myself into some more shit, right? They don't know she has cancer. They don't know like how even old she is. They just know she's old and they want to fuck her. So from there, she ends up getting a call from the hospital, and they were talking about how her friend is in the hospital now. And then she also, well, no, she doesn't get a call from the hospital. She gets a call from her best friend's daughter. She answers the phone. She's like, what's going on? She's like, my mom in the hospital. Please come. No. She's in a coma. So she had a heart attack. No. So she goes to the hospital because her best friend had basically a heart attack, some type of stroke. And she literally just got married. She just like, this is her only best friend. She was just jealous about like her finally having the perfect life, and like things are just kind of winding down because reality is kind of hitting. And this is Miss Vendetta's best friend, mind you. She doesn't even know who her new husband is. So she went outside to smoke a little cigarette with her best friend's daughter, and they're talking and being real like, you know, is nobody else gonna come? Like, how are we gonna tell the people that, you know, she's safe or whatever? Like, all the other family members are either in jail or they didn't answer, you know, or they're dead. So it's just her one daughter and Miss Vernetta there. But when they went back inside, there was like a bunch of men in black, right? Not just black men, but men in black. So it looked like FBI, CIA type shit going on. Miss Renetta realizes that there's one person that has security, and she knew that the husband of her best friend was a high profile. She just didn't know who he was. So when he was in there, Miss Renetta walked through and saw exactly who the fuck it was. It was a man that she used to be fucking on a long time ago. She was fucking on this rich man and then never answered him back. She like kind of like missed out on that opportunity because she didn't know if he was really rich or not. But it's like he liked her for her, but also too, maybe at the time it just wasn't gonna work out. Maybe it was just bad timing, which is why Miss Vendetta's best friend found him and now they're married. You know, like let bygones be bygones. Like that was the past, this is the present. But in that moment, she was too embarrassed to walk like fully into the room because she didn't want him to see her. And I'm like, oh Lord, this shit is getting so messy. So then after she had left, she just didn't tell anybody that she did leave, and she just went home. And from her being home, she's like, damn, like I need to fucking masturbate. My coochie could go about 4 or 5 rounds right now. She sees this fine ass man in the yard. It's the fucking Mexican mover company moving in the new neighbors next door. So she is fucking masturbating through her window watching these men. As fucking disgusting that is, I feel like that would be different if that was like your lover or something, and you just in the window and they just look up and your pussy in the frame, right? Like, I don't know. That two totally different situations. I don't condone what she did. You know, she's fucking crazy. So then she goes down there to try to talk to them because she's like, I know these motherfucking Mexican motherfuckers not moving next door to me, baby. I'm Miss Vernetta. I need my coochie done up and spit on. So she goes down there, she talks to the movers, and she's flirting with them. And she's like, ooh, y'all live here now. And they're like, no, ma'am, the owners are inside, but they might come back sooner or later, blah, blah, blah. We're just moving all this stuff in. And she's like, ooh, take my number. And like, um, she's just so flustered, and she doesn't know why she's just always horny all the fucking time. And basically she goes back in the house, does her little thing. The next morning she's going to her doctor's appointment, but she sees a goddamn Hellcat parked next door. So she's like, damn, who lived next door? I hope he fine. And she goes over there, and the lady rolls down the window, her new neighbor, and she's old just like her, but even worse. Real ghetto hood rat, you know what I'm saying? Like, true to this, not new to this, not a facade, no makeup, like no dress up, no cosplay. There you go, no cosplay. And from that moment, Miss Vernetta was so like disgusted that the fact that this quote quote dirty looking black woman had such a fine ass man at home. She introduced him to her husband, and they were getting ready to go. They smoke weed, they got money, they got this house, they got Hellcats and SRTs. So because they have a good life, Miss Vernetta's like, well damn, how can I get into that? You know what I'm saying? She don't know how she could get in that man pants, even though he's already married. But he's a little, not necessarily ditzy, but just something that she want to come back to. Because the wife of the dude of the neighbor, right? Or the wife of the neighbor, she basically wears the pants in the situation. She's older, has the bread, deals with the shit, and is like very like on the ball, right? So now after that, Miss Vernetta finally leaves. They invite her to like go drinking later that night, but she ends up going to the doctor's for her doctor's appointment. And basically her doctor retired because he cannot see, and he started having like amnesia of some sort. So what ended up happening is she got a new doctor. And from that new doctor, she was upset because she's been with this past doctor for X amount of time, right? And when you do things that have to deal with health, especially as you get older, you want somebody that just kind of like keeps track of you, you know, it feels safer. But little did she know that her doctor was really soon finna mentally be gone, right? On some dementia type shit. So the new doctor ends up telling her she don't even have cancer, y'all. She don't even have cancer. The doctors mixed up her paperwork. Imagine going to the doctors, especially as an older black woman that's on medications, and you get diagnosed with cancer. So the medication that they had her taking was for, I believe, high blood pressure and for arthritis or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the pills were, but we did have a pharmacist in the chat let us know that that medicine does make you a fucking horn dog, okay? So because of that, that is why Miss Vernetta had like such a strong like sexual feeling within her, because of the pills balancing out her fucking blood pressure and also keeping her blood thinner, so that, you know what I'm saying? All of that. And her fucking all these men and being all nasty and shit and masturbating like 5-6 times a day. Like, I feel like that takes hours, bruh. Like, that, I don't know, bruh. So for her to be like that off of medication is fucking terrifying. So she's like, damn, should I stop taking